the moon's night of vengeance must carry out your luminous will.
Welcome back, Loonies. You are listening to episode 21 of Into the Night, a Moon Knight podcast. This is our holiday special. I am one of your hosts, Ray.
And I'm your other host, Connor. And here on this Christmas spectacular, I guess, we are watching the Ultimate Spider-Man episode, The Moon Knight Before Christmas, episode 24. Of season probably 4. Why is my computer not showing it? Yeah, there we go. Season 4. That came out in 2016. We'll be going through it, having a bit of a talk, and just generally getting amongst it. So sit back, relax, turn your TV on, and get your Khonshu on.
Happy holidays, Connor. How are you today?
Happy holidays to you too. I am doing great. It is a white Christmas because there is a white cat in the corner of my room that is stealing my fan because otherwise he'll overheat if he doesn't steal it from me. So I'm a bit hot. That's Christmas in Australia. And otherwise, I'm doing fantastic. We've got a bit of an episode lined up.
Yeah.
And by that, I mean the TV show as well, quite technically. This will be a bit of a first trial for us as well. But What have you got any Moon Knight related things happening this Christmas? As I think we all do, because nothing speaks more Christmassy than blood, death, and vengeance.
I'm not sure. I hope I'm not visited in the middle of the night by the Moon Knight of past, present, and future. No. I'll still be reading a bit of Moon Knight here and there, of course, over the Christmas break, over the holiday break. But it's funny that you mentioned, in Australia, it's a very different sort of Christmas as to what you'd probably be used to over your way if you're from Europe or the US. It is usually a quite a bright, hot, a snowless Christmas over here in Australia, but you know we're in the holiday spirit, so whether or not you celebrate Christmas or not, it's all about the end of year festivities. And as Connor said, we are going to do something a little different for our holiday special. We're going to be reviewing, is it the only animated appearance of Moon Knight? It's the only one that I know of.
I believe it 100% is. We've got some in games, but this is the only one.
Yeah, so it's
animated.
There's a lot banking on this, I guess, as to his depiction and stuff. But it's going to be a lot of fun. So, Loonies, if you do have a copy, it would be great if you crack it out, or if you indeed have watched it just in prep for this review, we're gonna just dive straight into it. It's all new to us, Connor. So I guess no aspects, no bare bones to this. We're just gonna see how we go. I guess scene for scene. Would you say? Yeah.
We recommend loading up this episode and then cracking into this after, or I don't know. Maybe you'll get enough out of this just from us, but we'll be talking about it at the very least.
So look, it's about 22 minutes long. Connor, if you're going to sync yours with mine, I'm just going to play mine right about now. Okay, so as we go, this is almost like a commentary, Connor, an audio commentary for I feel like. So we I guess we open up with Spider-Man in the Sanctum Sanctorum, being his usual quippy self. We see him decorating a somewhat non-conventional Christmas tree that Doctor Strange has procured somewhere. A very strange-looking tree, Connor.
I get what you're doing there. I don't like it, but I get what you're doing.
Hey?
Strange Christmas tree, because...
Okay, fair enough.
And, of course, we meet our Doctor Strange here, who looks... I don't know, he looks really sort of a young anime boy.
He does.
Would be my best way to describe him.
This is for sure a different sort of universe than the one we're used to in the comic books. Doctor Strange being pretty kind of cutting edge and cool and young. well, obviously 2016, not bearing any of the marks of his monumental battle with, gosh, the name eludes me, but those alien freaks that kind of stole all the magic in the universe. So anyway, yeah, Spidey is basically he's describing how he's been asked to house sit. I think the Sanctum Sanctorum while Doctor Strange is out on yet another astral adventure.
I mean, I'm not sure why on earth you would ever trust him. Also, I'd just like to acknowledge there's a scene where he like shuts a door by shooting the web at it, and it's just like, just use your hands. Just use your hands.
Yeah.
See, this is why you would never hire Spider-Man to look after your house. He shoots the web, pulls the door closed. Where does that web go? It's on your floor. He's a teenager. He wouldn't clean the carpets.
No,
it's a bad idea. Web everywhere.
Exactly. That's the epitome of being a bit lazy, I reckon. Spider-Man's too used to his webbing. But he runs into another room and he remembers that Doctor Strange told him to not go into this room. And it's an armory room of sorts, isn't it, Connor? Yeah,
filled with all the classic sort of weapons you wouldn't want anyone to get their holds of: wands, axes, armors.
Mm-hmm. So a little bit of setting here from the writer, and then all of a sudden, he hears a scream from outside. There's a little girl, black-haired.
It's Moon Knight. Moon Knight's the girl. Spoiler alert.
No, it isn't Moon Knight. Although he is waiting in the wings, it's a little girl. She's on the floor, on the pavement, screaming for help, and none other than our boy. Moon Knight comes through.
Coming from the sky. Not so much so you can see him coming. He kind of conceals himself for a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Look, I'm not sure where you are, Connor, at the moment. If we hit... Oh, I'm getting the Marvel credits now. But yeah, I mean, the first appearance of Moon Knight, very much the Declan Shalvey costume-inspired Moon Knight.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's really accurate as well when it comes to the Shalvey depiction.
Yeah, and it's fairly recent. I mean, it must have been. I mean, they probably would have had the choice of doing the classic Moon Knight, but as you mentioned, 2016. This would have been around about the time, right? Or maybe a bit after that Shalvey and Ellis did their Moon Knight run, so they've made a conscious decision to use Shalvey's costume.
A conscious decision.
Thank you, Connor Shu.
Yeah.
So look, I'm just stopping and starting here a bit, Connor, as well.
Yeah, me too.
Mm-hmm. So after the credits were opened,
also really just boring credits. Like when I think of credits, I think of Spectacular Spider-Man that had the catchiest theme song of all time. This just has nothing. It's just kind of a bit of animation and a bit of.
Yeah, look, I'm gonna have to draw upon your animated prowess, Connor, as well. But yeah. I mean, like I was expecting something along the lines of the X-Men. Their magic. Yeah, in the 90s. But this is short and sharp, and it's I didn't realize. Yeah, it is actually Ultimate Spidey versus the Sinister Six. So there's a greater arc happening to this animated series. But as we see Moonie and Spider-Man face off straight away. Moon Knight, being the crazy dude he is, just launches himself at Spider-Man, hopelessly outmatched.
Some cool kicks, actually. It's pretty cool animation when it comes to just defining hits.
Yeah, you get that kinetic energy, right? Yeah, there's that blurring. Again, I'm not too clued into animation, but I do like the depiction of movement here. But Spider-Man just, quick sticks, just easily gets out of the way. And obviously throwing quips in between the way. In between each shot. Moon Knight pulls out, looks like a bolo, tries to tangle up Spider-Man, but it's easily avoided. And Spider-Man ends up behind him while Moon Knight talks to the moon.
Yeah, so just pause it here. I want to ask a few questions. I remember when I first looked this up on the internet, I was a bit iffy on Moon Knight's voice. First of all, what do you think of Moon Knight's voice?
Look, it's got the stereotypical, gravelly, dark, sinister voice. To be honest, it wasn't the voice I would have expected Moon Knight to have. Do you feel the same, or?
Yeah, I do. I kind of grew to like it a bit more. I guess if that was his covering up his real voice, I suppose that kind of makes sense. But I think it's very much like audio shorthand to the audience that this guy isn't a hero. Like when he first shows up, like
exactly,
just all that real gravelly voice.
Yep.
I don't know. There's always something, especially from the Lemire run, that makes me think Mark's kind of like got kind of a sweetheart voice, but is also kind of gravelly. Like it's 50-50. Like he was a nice young Jewish boy at home until he was corrupted by Khonshu. You know, he's sort of nice.
Yeah, you're right. I actually think almost to the point that he could be kind of softly spoken. Just because of his background, I guess his father was a well-respected rabbi. He was a mercenary, sure, but if you look at Stephen Grant's background, quite dapper, quite sophisticated, and for me, it would have been like Jake Lockley that likes to have a bit more of a rougher accent and a rougher voice. But Moon Knight itself, I don't know. Look, I try to shy away from Christian Bale's Batman. You know how he put on that really weird voice? So I kind of got a little sense of that here with Moon Knight. But it's still a very nice resonant, bass voice. I thought it was pretty cool.
And when I thought the voice was going to be the biggest change, I suppose the biggest change is that there's no Khonshu. I suppose nothing screams kid-friendly like a bird skull and a dapper suit. But in here, so the big trait here is that Moonie is insane and talks to the moon as though it's his. It's actually just the moon, no Khonshu, just the moon.
Well, is he insane? Because the moon. I mean, although Spider-Man thinks he's outright insane, actually references him as Loony Mooney, which is pretty cool. Which was a reference to the comics. Moon Knight seems to get his information from the moon, and he seems to get accurate information. So, whether or not he's come across that somehow somewhere else and just pretends it's the moon, we don't know. But yeah, you're right. No Khonshu. I think it's very simplified here. It's just Moon Knight, so he'll just talk to the moon. But yeah, it's an interesting take on Moon Knight here.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see a bird skull and a dapper suit animated, but you got to deal with what you got to deal with.
I'd love to see that in like a manga anime version of Moon Knight if they ever do that. I think I mentioned previously they did do one for Black Widow and the Punisher, Avengers Confidential, which was an awesome animated film. And it had the likes of Iron Man, I think Thor, Hulk, Amadeus Cho were in there as well. But the way it depicted the Punisher and Black Widow as like street level gritty is really cool. So to see Moon Knight and the bird Khonshu would have been pretty cool too.
So keeping on.
So Moon Knight, I'm up to about 3 minutes. He's still fighting Spider-Man. Spider-Man grabs his leg, webs him in the face, and just kind of pushes him off, and he's out for the count. But not for long. So obviously, I mean, Spider-Man is quite a powerful hero. So Moon Knight, basically being a guy with some weapons, I think he's outmatched for sure. And anyway, so Spider-Man fobs him off pretty quickly, and they try to escape, him and the little girl, back into the Sanctum Sanctorum. Also, sorry, just pause there, Connor. Spider-Man makes mention of the Cylinders of Pain, which I think is really cool. A very Moonie thing. It's basically his truncheons, which we've seen. The bolo strings, we haven't actually... I don't think I've actually ever seen that in the comics.
That's like kind of a reason why Moonie just wouldn't be throwing crescent darts at someone on the street.
That's true. It's kind of dulled down as well, but he still has his truncheons, which are pretty cool.
And they get coolly used later this episode too.
Still far outmatched by Spider-Man. So if we go along, Spider-Man's having... Sorry?
Gets thrown by his cape, which we're getting there.
Gets thrown by his cape, yep, and he seems to just pass out on the snow.
I kind of want a gif of just him being thrown into the snow. It's kind of satisfying.
It is, isn't it? A nice puff of white smoke as he goes in. We do see a bit of the crescent darts actually over there. So as Spider-Man and the mysterious young girl head towards the Sanctorum, there's a mystical barrier which Spider-Man's been given the password, for want of a better explanation. And just as Moon Knight throws a crescent dart, he manages to get the little girl past the shield, much to Moon Knight's dismay, and he shuts the door with Moon Knight. Ooh, I've just paused it right when Moon Knight tries to punch through the defensive shield.
Very nice. Sucked in Moon Knight.
It's
almost like he had a point. Will he be really trying to murder a little girl? Better watch to find out.
Yeah, so at the moment, this introduction of Moon Knight, he's quite a sinister character, right? Like, no one attacks little girls with the cylinders of pain and crescent darts. So we're very much on the side of Spider-Man here, and unless you're a Moonie fan, you'd think that this guy's a villain. Yeah, so he's trying to bash his way in. If we move along, Spider-Man and the little girl are now in the Sanctum. Spider-Man poses rather provocatively on on the throne of it seems of Doctor Strange in front of the little girl, which is a little worrying.
Before a touching story is told.
Yes, that's it.
Of her past.
Mm-hmm. And what's his past on, Connor?
She's a poor little orphan, left in an orphanage after losing her father and losing all the Christmases they would have had together when they used to live in a farmhouse.
Yep.
And now she's run away from the orphanage when a crazy guy attacked her in the street.
So all the trademarks of a sob story. It pulls at Spidey's heart as they're by the fireplace. And I guess Spidey then says, you can count on me to... her name is Francie as well. Francie. And Spider-Man pledges that he will protect her from Moon Knight, but at the same time they can still have fun in this weird Sanctum Sanctorum.
They make gingerbread cookies that get up and move because...
They do.
I don't know, Doctor Strange just made sure all gingerbread cookies would suddenly gain sentience.
Yeah.
I suppose that's just a spell you drop on the house.
That's true, and there's a very cheesy montage here of Spider-Man in a Santa hat. There's jingle bells, there's Polaroids, and they're having a good time here. Francie is quite innocent. But she does show some interest in the Forbidden Room, which Spider-Man had established earlier as being a room that he's not meant to be in. So Spider-Man says, well, you can't go in this room. We've been told not to get in there. But as all cheeky little children go, she manages to sneak past her while he is talking away.
And then we see the backstory that in there is weirdly Mysterio's helmet, which he last wore before he fell off a bridge. Just casually.
Just casually fell off a bridge. One of his many encounters with Spider-Man. If we just pause there, Connor, I kind of like Mysterio as a villain.
Me too.
Yeah, he's such
Did you ever read... Oh, sorry.
Sorry, did I ever read...
Did you ever read the Gauntlet?
No. Oh, which one? Was that the Deadpool Gauntlet? No.
No, that was the Spider-Man story that happened a bit before issue 600. I think it may have started at 588. Basically, all of Spider-Man's villains kind of go through a gauntlet with him of trying to beat him, and there's just fantastic characters for all of them. I think Electro has a great issue where he just tries to appeal to a bunch of people who've been ripped off by Wall Street, and Mysterio's got a great new reinvigoration. Oh, you've still got to check it out. But I love Mysterio. He feels really 80s.
He's very 80s. He can be
cheesy.
very corny. But one of the things I always remember of him is Old Man Logan, the original trade, and he was actually the catalyst that actually. So he actually cast illusions to Logan, and that ended up. it ended up Logan killing all of the X-Men. So he played a major part in forming, I guess, Old Man Logan. Is I think is quite underrated as a character. Like, he's meant to be like a special effects kind of guy, but apart from his dodgy look, he's I reckon he's pretty formidable.
Me too. Yeah, I feel like he could just sort of been thrown around as a joke, but even like Craven, he eventually had his day.
Yeah. So I'm going to check out the Gauntlet. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it's so good.
So if we resume, so Spider-Man, obviously is still recounting what I'm looking at about the Brooklyn Bridge with Spider-Man, and Spider-Man fails to save him, and he plummets to what seems to be his death. Spider-Man can't catch up, although he does a pretty cool dive into the water, and only reclaims the helmet, which ends up in Doctor Strange's possession. So you might be a little ahead of me, Connor. I'm not sure, but about 6 minutes 50. So he's.
Oh, yep, yeah.
Yeah. So he's
Moon
talking.
Knight.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. He rushes out. He hears a noise, I guess, and he sees Moon Knight. Yep. Over here, Connor.
Casually getting in. Once again, just webbing. Oh, I suppose webbing up the stairs is pretty okay when it comes to getting to places quickly.
If you have to get there pretty quickly, yeah, the old webbing helps. But he tries to get Moon Knight, and Moon Knight appears intangible, which at this point you're thinking, hang on, that's not Moon Knight's power. What's going on? Did you think that as well, or?
Yeah, totally. I'm like, all right, I guess this is how much they're changing him.
Yeah, I mean, with these series, you just don't know how much they will change. But it's not long after it that you actually see Moon Knight outside of the Sanctorum, on the window, trying to get in. So there's a bit of silly buggers happening here, and we just don't know. We don't know what's going on. And then we see Francie again having a look at the helmet, and all of a sudden she transforms, to Spider-Man's bewilderment, into a fully grown Francie in a Mysterio suit.
Whoa, what a shock. She wasn't a little girl at all. She was the deep demise. Whoa.
Whoa. So this is cool, because then you start thinking, hang on, Moonie's not bad after all. Maybe he does have some sort of ulterior motive, and maybe he was chasing someone that was bad. So there was a short commercial break. We come back. She's pointing a mystical, mysterious hand at Spider-Man. And I'm just referring to our notes. Oh yeah, she refers to herself as Francie. She's actually the daughter of Quentin Beck, Mysterio. And she only needs the helmet to complete her, her costume, to become the new Mysterio.
And you know what? I kind of like the costume. I'm not going to lie. It's not bad.
Costume's cool. I'd really love to see it in, like, on the silver screen, like on the big screen.
Yeah.
I'd like to see how they translate that, because the hardest thing would be that helmet. Would be to get like a full-on spherical glass head. Like, I can imagine it being like a mirror. Like, you can see through it, but it'll be so hard to make that look like at least credible. The rest of the costume, look, hey, I think it will be. We've got Doctor Strange in the MCU. His costume's pretty out there. This is not too far from it. But what's happening here? So she decides to try and attack Spider-Man, and although Spider-Man grabs the helmet from her, she summons some, looks like demon Christmas elves.
Yeah, well, got to get in the spirit,
Yeah. So again, if we pause here, Connor. So this is not really, and we'll get to that later, this is not really the power set of Mysterio, right? So Mysterio usually just can cast illusions. Can't really summon demons, but this is explained a little later on.
Yeah, well, yeah, I thought that when I was thinking that. He never got, like, kind of cool powers, did he? It was always illusions, in the comics?
Oh, look, there may have been a story here. I don't know. I'm not too up to date with Mysterio, but there may have been deals made with, the devil or Mephisto or something. But not that I know of, that he kind of, nothing that elevated his power beyond just casting illusions. But it's comics. Who knows? He could have easily upgraded, so to speak. So Francie summons some demon elves, and she wants the name of Mysterio to be honored again. This is her main claim. She feels her dad was hard done by, doesn't get the respect that he deserves, so she wants to bring the name of Mysterio back into the forefront and honored again by people, or feared again by people. So she summons all these demonic elves, and she tries to attack Spider-Man with it. All the while,
I suppose you got to get in the Christmas spirit somehow.
Yeah, exactly. So this is our first kind of, apart from the white snow outside, this is the first kind of inkling towards some sort of Christmas. Oh, well, actually, no, there was that montage of when they were doing their Christmas celebration.
And the fact Aunt May's at like a
true
thing.
Yeah, she's at some sort of goodwill thing. So anyway, the demonic elves, they try to get Spider-Man. They're all trying to get his helmet, right? So the helmet is the important bit now. It is the so Spider-Man webs up them. He runs from the Sanctum. Moon Knight is still outside, trying to get in. Spider-Man clearly needs help. Then all of a sudden, we have a bit of a turn here.
Yeah, well, I mean, who would show up?
Yep.
But the lovely Dr. Anime Boy Strange.
Dr. Young Strange, and he's looking pretty spiffy in his looks like a full-on full-on costume, like not like not like old clothes. It looks like a full-on spandex thing.
Yeah, he's really working those spandexes.
Yeah, but still has his I don't know what that insignia is on the chest, but that's always a staple of Doctor Strange. He's got the red cape, obviously. The what is it? The cape of levitation. He's got the eye of Agamotto. He's got a slight variation on his gloves. They used to be kind of up to his elbows. Now they just seem to be kind of wristy kind of things. Yeah, he's got yellow boots, and he's in spandex, as you say. So he turns up, and he, I guess, reproaches Spider-Man, saying, "What the hell are you doing? You should be, something is not right here,
But, of course, someone's banging on the door with the smarts to win them all over, sort of. I don't know, that's not really how he's portrayed. But Moon Knight sure does bring Spider-Man the message that that's not strange. Not that, of course, Spider-Man understands at all.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He cries out, not strange, which, funnily enough, Spider-Man thinks is, well, hang on, it is a little weird. But it soon dawns on him that it is not Doctor Strange at all. And he finally realizes that it must be another illusion cast by the new Mysterio. And lo and behold, Doctor Strange turns into Francie Beck, Mysterio, and she manages with a click of the fingers to get the helmet. So she now has her full-on costume. She's ready to cosplay, Connor. And we have here more Christmas entertainment. Spider-Man is then attacked by, it looks like, a giant gingerbread people. So it's quite a how should we say, a low blow from Francie. They had moments ago been enjoying gingerbread, and she has turned that into a bit of a nightmare for Spider-Man.
I don't have a good pun here, but I'm sure Spider-Man will say one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We both have this on mute, just as so we only got the visuals, but there are a lot of quips happening, I'm sure. So, and so here Spider-Man jumps onto the ceiling, and he says, "Come on, I've got to remember what Doctor Strange told me. There are some important things that he told me, right?" So. Oh, hang on, I've gone too far.
And then suddenly remembers that it wasn't about putting a hat on when you go outside because it's cold.
That's right.
That the enemy,
yes,
the enemy is your friend. And of course, remembering the secret code word, Moon Knight comes crashing down from the window he was banging on. And like I said before, something cool puts his truncheons together, his cylinders of pain into a cool bow staff.
Cool bow staff. But just before there, Connor, if we pause, if we talk about the animation, there's a nice little effect there. Do you see that with Moon Knight trying to bash through the window of the Sanctorum? There's almost like a rippling effect, which I think is done computer like post production. To get him like show the vibrations as he's trying to get in. But as you mentioned, Spider-Man says, "Okay, well, the enemy of my enemy is my friend," and he lets Moonie in. And as you mentioned, the truncheons become his staff, and we got full-on action here, which is great.
Yeah, once again, pretty cool, pretty slick animation. Really good movement of the kinetic energy, the movement of the staff, the legs, the cape flowing. Yeah, pretty cool.
I mean, this compared to like Spider-Man, and it kind of harks back to the Legends figures, kind of the Hasbro figures. Moonie looks pretty cool. Like his hood, his black face, the flowing cape, his bow staff. He really looks like a cool character. And again, you got to put it down to Shelby's costume design. So Spider-Man's trying to reason with Francie, and she's not going to have anything to do with it, and so she creates a portal, and herself and the gingerbread monsters are pulled through it. And then we have...
I'm not sure why she felt the gingerbread monsters were that important to keep.
I know, yeah. That's a bit of a loose thing, isn't it? Why would you, unless she had some sort of connection to... Oh, hello!
Yeah, I know. We got a little visitor watching the episode with us.
Have we got one of our identities? Our other another High Priest here. That's awesome.
Just going to give the microphone a little sniff, look back over the keyboard, reset it again. Okay, reset it again. Let me just load up to the exact point I was at before. Stop. Looking over my keyboard.
Oh, the beauty.
Alright, we're back. Alright, I'm at the right point.
Awesome. So Moonie's talking to the moon again, and again we're establishing that Spider-Man's thinking this guy is absolutely nutso. And Moon Knight tells Spider-Man that a young girl wanted to reawaken a dark evil in the place. Moon Knight also goes on further to describe that there's a mystical wand that can obliterate the power of the helmet. So somehow the helmet, yes, that's right. Somehow the helmet has become enchanted. But Moonie seems to know what to do. Again, seemingly from information from the moon itself. Yep,
this is why he's going to be such a good character in Damnation. He's just got the knowledge
from
the moon to fight the mystical arts.
I want to see him talk more to the moon. I think that's pretty cool. Because in effect, right, Khonshu has depicted Khonshu's self as the moon. So, the eye of Khonshu is the moon. So it's not out of place in the comics, I think, for Moon Knight to start talking to the moon.
Yeah, not entirely. And obviously they're not trying to market this incredibly grim, violent character to kids.
No,
it's
for
like,
sure.
buy his comic.
Yeah, no, they're going to try and keep it PG. So Moon Knight talks about a wand, and Spider-Man knows exactly what he's talking about. And again, we go to the armory room, which Doctor Strange said don't go in, which had the Mysterio helmet in. And Spider-Man shows Moonie the wand, and Moon Knight concurs. This is it. This is the thing that will stop the helmet.
And the last time he's ever going to go back into the room that he doesn't ever want to go in.
Exactly. The third and last time. So Moonie says, yep, this is the wand that I saw in my dream. Let's go get Mysterio. So they both walk out of the armory room, and they head outside. I guess they're wondering where to find Mysterio. There's Moonie there looking every bit of the Hasbro Legends figure.
Yeah.
And so they walk out onto the street, and Wooshka, Francie, the new Mysterio, pops out of the portal, and she creates a huge snow monster, it looks like.
Spider-Man realizing that he may now need Moon Knight's crazy, insane moon talker to help.
Exactly. Goes to commercial break, comes back. Moon Knight is talking to the moon again. Spider-Man is just bewildered. Hang on. And if we just pause here, Connor, and we do know later on, it's funny. This, constant talking to the moon will play a vital role towards the end.
Yeah, and Spider-Man getting a bit on on his on Moon Knight's nerves, talking about having to deal with this spider demon.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of characters would concur in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
They're really trying to like depict him as pretty kind of insane too, just with his eye movements as well. I mean, eyes are a big part of like the comedic element of this kid's show, but just the way his eyes sort of move are a bit kooky and sort of that.
Yeah. Oh, I know for sure. You mean Spider-Man or Moon Knight?
Moon Knight.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, since his face is blackened, you can only really convey it with the eyes, I guess. But yeah, it does show that he's a bit weird, and just the fact that he just always looks up into the sky and starts talking, which is pretty funny. This is an important bit here, Connor, I thought, which is really cool. It was a nice little nod again. When did you say this was done? 2016, right?
Yeah.
So a little nod to Houston, I think.
Yes, totally. I got that as well.
You got that one? Yeah. So Moon Knight gets pummeled by the snowman, and Spider-Man's going, are you all right? Blah, blah, blah. Moon Knight goes, I'd rather take the hit than waste time blocking it. And that pretty much sums up Moon Knight. I think Taskmaster in the Houston run, in some runs, said that he is loath to replicate Moon Knight's fighting technique because Moon Knight prefers to get hit rather than to defend. So it kind of, again, shows how crazy he can be.
And he keeps doing sort of like a prayer on the ground as he raises his sticks.
Yep.
Sort of like a big Y shape.
And then he launches himself at this snow beast. So again, we have Moonie, just no fear. I mean, he should be the man without fear. Oh, here we go. Mysterio brings to life Santa Claus. Moon Knight.
Yep, the biggest villain of all, Santa Claus.
Yeah. And Spider-Man gets punched into a shopping mall, shortly followed by Moon Knight. Moon Knight crashes through the shopping mall despite being only human. I guess he's got a lot of body armor as well to protect him.
Yeah, true, the Kevlar.
And he lands on a nice cushiony green, I guess, prop or a big gift box. So he's there next to Spider-Man. They've just been beaten by a snowman, and they get accosted immediately by toy soldiers and toy airplanes as well. So Moon Knight gets straight into action with his truncheons again. And
Two cool kicks, straight to the head.
Oh yeah, this is a pretty cool action scene actually. You get a lot of Moon Knight here, a lot of kicking from Moon Knight, and Spider-Man with his agility manages to dodge a lot of the shots before the big snowman comes. There's a lot of webbing as Mysterio controls the snowman, and Moon Knight has got his own billy club cables to get him swinging. Oh, so Moon Knight comes flying in, and
he caught up with the billy clubs.
Yeah, well, I'm looking now. He just smashes the wand into the helmet of Mysterio.
Yeah.
So it's pretty violent, actually. That would have knocked anyone out. But Spider-Man makes short work of the snowman, and then he starts talking to the audience again, which is a funny little tool which he does, which we'll again see later on. I can't remember what he was talking about.
He basically comes to the realization that if he's ever gonna get Moon Knight to help him,
yes,
he needs to get him to listen to him like he listens to the moon.
Yeah.
And so Spider-Man comes up with the idea that he can now hear the moon.
Yeah, which is a pretty funny, a pretty amusing bit where Spider-Man pretends to talk to the moon, and he convinces Moon Knight to help him save basically Francie.
Yep, the moon says to save Francie, and obviously because Spider-Man can hear the moon, Moon Knight believes the moon unquestionably, and Spider-Man is now his kin as Knight to the Moon.
Yes, and he also says that may the moon be with you. So, a lot of cheese factor here. But yeah, so Spider-Man grabs the wand and appears to be sucked into the helmet, and he's brought into...
Yeah, wasn't expecting this crazy shenanigans.
Yeah, this is quite a turn left field here, and so he finds himself in some sort of other plane, and he sees Francie at the farmhouse, which he spoke of earlier, at the dinner table with her dad, Quentin Beck. So they're having a good old time there. And
Quentin Beck greeting Spider-Man.
Yep. So everything seems quite well, and Francie is quite happy to be there, but Spider-Man says that no, this is only the helmet's power trying to trick you. But Quentin Beck says, well, he convinces Spider-Man that he is indeed the real deal, and he proves this by saying that he remembers exactly the last time they fought, which was on the Brooklyn Bridge. So it's not just an illusion cast by the helmet. And
Quentin Beck realizing the errors of his ways.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and he wants to make up for his mistake, and apparently Doctor Strange knew that Quentin was stuck in the helmet, and apparently it was a deal with Dormammu to actually gain this almost upgrade in power and have his illusions come to life. So we kind of explain now why Mysterio's power set is a lot more powerful than what he usually kind of does, which was just cast illusions. So there's a bit of a recount there of Quentin speaking to Dormammu.
Quentin Beck feeling resolved to protect his daughter by not returning to the real world, thinking he's irredeemable. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. And in timely fashion, just after the story is told, the portal breaks down, and Quentin demands that Francie return to Earth, and Francie's going, I don't want to leave you because you're my dad, and there's a very touching moment here about family love, but he says that she can't stay here. As the portal goes and she moves towards Quentin, she falls through the abyss, seemingly to her death. But Quentin, the good guy, he's not really a villain, is he, Connor?
He's kind of redeemed himself.
He's
I
redeemed
suppose.
himself. So he actually saves Francie and Spider-Man, and somehow he seems to pull them from the abyss. All the time, Moonie is trying to take care of the giant snowman and killer teddy bears and toy soldiers, and whooshka, Spider-Man, Quentin Beck, and Francie appear back on our real world, and in a very touching moment.
Yep, and Moon Knight once again MVP. Wouldn't have been able to do it without him. He was the only reason they were able to fight off and save the man.
How many times has Moon Knight been the MVP? Really?
Yeah, I know. Look, just called this Into the MVP. Am I right, kids? High five me.
So we get a short shot here of actually. So after this whole adventure, Doctor Strange returns to the Sanctum Sanctorum, to the fine mess that Spider-Man and Moon Knight has made, and in a typical trope fashion, he screams out, "Spider-Man!" Much to our amusement.
Of course, and then it ends, of course, happily. Everyone is happily redeemed and sitting at a table. Quentin Beck, Francis Beck, Spider-Man, and Moon Knight, Aunt May, with a sign that just says "Feast" behind it. Which I'm pretty sure maybe the organisation is that, or just a sign that says the word "feast" on it.
That's true. Unless, can you think of what does feast stand for? My brain does not work fast enough for that.
Free,
edible,
free edible,
apples,
sold, timely,
timely saviors. Excellent. That must be it.
We've done it.
We've done it. We nailed it. So
Moon Knight just casually eating the table, making some quaint comments in the background, which was actually a pretty funny little bit.
It's a funny little bit, and again with the eyes, Connor, I've actually paused it here, and his eyes are again evoking. He actually, at the end, he actually asks Spider-Man who he's talking to, because Spider-Man has been addressing the audience throughout the whole show every now and again. And Moonie says, who are you talking to? I'm talking to the moon. And we end with Spider-Man saying, Moonie saying, you're a bit of a weirdo.
Yeah. Talking to nobody's weirder than talking to the moon.
That's it. So a nice little wrap up there at the end there. Oh yeah, I like some of the beats that the writer has done on this.
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously, get what you get. It is still a kids' cartoon.
It is, yep.
You know, it doesn't try to subvert the genre.
No.
You know, you got to go in there expecting that not every joke is a Edgar Wright level comedy
No.
for us all. But
No,
it was quaint, it was cute, it was Christmassy. There are actually a few decent jokes I laughed at.
yes.
Moon Knight isn't the Moon Knight we know and love, but for what it is, it was pretty fun.
It was pretty fun, and it had, like any, I guess, Saturday afternoon or Saturday morning cartoon, it had a little message there as well, Connor, didn't it? It had
Yeah.
I guess it was about family, familial values, and, well, it wasn't about housekeeping because Spider-Man he failed in that regard. But no, it was at the center of it. It was pretty much about Francie and Quentin Mysterio, which was really cool. It was good to see Moon Knight as a heroic figure at the end. Although at the beginning he started out to be, quite the sinister guy attacking a small girl. But as you said, MVP, he knew all along that the little girl was actually Francie in disguise. So props to him. Yeah. And Doctor Strange as a character was not. I mean, he was very peripheral. Would you say, Connor?
Yeah, I mean, when you got a cute little anime boy like that, you got to preserve him for the right moments. I think he actually plays a pretty cool part in the series by the sounds of it. It sounds like they use him to good effect.
Yeah, true. Well, actually, having said that, he was actually used well. Again, the writer, I can't remember who. I don't know who the writer is here.
I think it was like Elliot something.
Was Elliot?
I'm about to find out.
Elliot something.
Just like right after the credits.
Yeah, we had a bit of Spanish on our copy, but anyway, no, true. Doctor Strange, I think, was used really well here as the foil, because when Francie Mysterio pretends to be Doctor Strange, I was fooled for a couple of seconds there when when Spider-Man bursts in with Mysterio's helmet. You tend to think, oh, Doctor Strange is here, he's gonna clean up the mess, but it was in fact just Francie in disguise. So Doctor Strange was used well. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, as you say, it's very much a kids' cartoon. How the rest of the season goes. This is episode 24, so there are long seasons with animated.
Yeah, I feel like this was the second last season too.
Oh, was it?
Or
Okay.
like even the last season, I think possibly. I'll look it up.
Yeah. So we saw Mysterio, which is pretty cool. It is Ultimate Spider-Man versus the Sinister Six. I would love to see Rhino, Scorpion, Electro. Who else is there? Vulture and Doc Ock. That would actually be pretty cool. Just to see them how they're handled in the animated series. But I digress. As things go for Into the Night, a Moon Knight podcast, Moon Knight was done. I thought, albeit quite differently, he was done pretty well.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Not too bad at all. So Loonies, it's this is a short this is a short sharp one. Only a 20-minute episode. It's almost like a running commentary. So look, if you have a copy, just slap this podcast on while you watch it as well. Hang on. Why not? Let's give this a Crescent Dart rating, Connor.
Look, I give this a Christmas out of Crescent Darts.
Christmas out of Crescent Darts. I love it. I would give this a cylinder of pain out of Crescent Darts.
No, that's good. I couldn't agree more.
But look, it's great to see. So far this is the only version of Moon Knight we have on the screen, apart from video games. Which reminds me, Connor, it would be pretty cool to review some video games.
Yep. See you all next week for pinball. We're reviewing the pinball.
No, but seriously though, have you ever come across any, or have you played any of the games with Moon Knight in there?
No, I haven't, but I'm pretty sure he may be playable in Marvel Ultimate Alliance. But I'll make sure we track him down. Maybe we can do a big episode all about it. Just going through, recounting them all.
I know for sure. Like Marvel Ultimate Alliance, I know there's Future Fight. I played Ultimate Alliance a little bit. There's also the big Contest of Champions. I've actually I've gone back into that, trying to I've been trying to get Moonie, but it's very hard because I refuse to pay. For one, so it's all up to as many like tokens you can save, and then it's a lucky dip basically of what hero you get. But Moonie's in there as well. I can't remember what costume he's got, but it would be good to review the video game. So there's at least 3 of them there, and look, I believe Connor as well. I reckon there's a pinball game somewhere out there.
I think there is actually. I've seen it. I think Adam Prine put it in the Facebook group.
Oh, did
Track
he?
it down. Yeah,
Fantastic.
I think so. I think it's like FX Ultimate Pinball or something like that.
Oh,
but yeah, this is our second last episode for the year, a little Christmas special. We'll have our final episode of the year, episode 22, up a couple of days after this, and then
that's it.
We'll be seeing you all in the next year.
Exactly. We thought we'll just sneak in a little cheeky episode 21. It's 21 episodes. Be good to get in a little holiday special, and this was very apt for the time of year. So we're squeezing this one in, and in a few days' time, as Connor said, we'll have episode 22, which will resume our usual format, and will be the last one of this year. So thanks Loonies for listening to this quickfire review of the animated series. Connor, any final words?
No, thank you once again for listening. Have a fantastic holidays for whatever you celebrate. Hope it's great. Hope comics are involved somehow. Hope Moon Knight is involved if you can fit him in.
Yes. I share the sentiments as well. Have a great holiday. Enjoy it. Eat stack loads. Just be in good company. Read good comics as well. So, we'll catch you in a few days' time.
Yep, and as we always say on this podcast, may Pretty Boy Anime Doctor Strange look after the denizens of the night. Have a good holidays, everyone.
See you later, everyone.
Moon Knight and affiliated characters, stories and events are properties of Marvel Characters Incorporated. Materials used and discussed within the podcast are intended for critique and review purposes only under the fair dealing concept of the current Copyright Act. The views, information or opinions expressed during the podcast are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of the copyright owners.